Right now, there are over 70 submarines prowling the world's oceans with crews sealed inside steel tubes for months at a time. A Virginia-class attack submarine stretches 360 feet long but measures just 34 feet across, about the width of a school bus. Into this space, the U.S. Navy packs 135 sailors, a nuclear reactor, weapon systems, and all the machinery needed to keep humans alive hundreds of feet below the surface. These sailors won't see sunlight for 90 days. They'll sleep in bunks barely larger than their bodies, sharing beds with 2 other people in a rotation system. They'll shower for exactly 3 minutes, eat in shifts of 20, and learn to flush toilets with a specific valve sequence to avoid catastrophic backups. Every breath they take will be manufactured air, scrubbed and recycled through chemical filters. How do 135 people survive in a space where you're never more than an arm's length from another human? How do they maintain sanity when privacy doesn't exist and the walls close in tighter every day? What engineering makes it possible to generate oxygen, fresh water, and power while sealed beneath crushing ocean pressure? This is life in one of the most extreme working environments on Earth, where space is so limited that the officer's dining room doubles as an operating theater, where new sailors earn acceptance by memorizing every pipe and valve, and where crews transform deprivation into pride through rituals, humor, and absolute trust in each other. A submarine's interior volume tells a brutal story of compromise. On a Virginia-class attack sub, machinery for propulsion and power consumes about a third of the vessel's 360-foot length. The nuclear reactor compartment alone takes up massive space, leaving a network of narrow passageways and small compartments squeezed around essential systems. The math is unforgiving. 135 sailors must live, work, eat, sleep, and maintain readiness in what amounts to a 3-story building laid on its side. Every corridor is barely wide enough for 2 people to pass if they turn sideways. Ceiling heights force taller sailors to duck constantly. Storage happens wherever physics allows. Food gets crammed into torpedo rooms. Spare parts fill overhead spaces. And fresh vegetables line passageways for the first week of patrol until they're eaten. Multifunctionality becomes survival strategy. The torpedo room transforms into a gym during quiet watches, with sailors doing pull-ups on torpedo loading equipment. The officer's wardroom serves as meeting space, dining hall, and emergency medical facility. Even the missile compartment on ballistic submarines sometimes hosts movie nights, with sailors sitting between the launch tubes. Personal space shrinks to almost nothing. Sailors describe the experience as learning to exist in public 24 hours a day. You dress in view of others, eat while someone watches, and sleep knowing someone is always awake 3 feet away. The joke among crews is that privacy means pulling your rack curtain closed, a thin fabric barrier that provides the only solitude available for months. Sleep on a submarine follows industrial logic, not human comfort. With only 94 bunks for 135 sailors on a Virginia-class sub, the Navy invented hot racking, a rotation system where beds never cool down. Each bunk, or rack, serves 3 different sailors across 3 8-hour watches. When one sailor climbs out for duty, another climbs in, often finding the mattress still warm and the pillow still indented. The racks themselves challenge every notion of a comfortable bed. Stacked 3 high with about 18 inches of vertical clearance, they're coffin-sized spaces where rolling over requires careful planning. The mattress is thin foam over metal. Storage consists of a small netting for personal items, photos, books, maybe an iPod. A curtain provides the only privacy, though it does nothing to block the sounds of snoring, conversations, or the constant mechanical noise that saturates the submarine. New sailors take weeks to adapt to sleeping while the submarine operates around them. The boat never stops moving, engines running, pumps cycling, electronics humming. Sailors learn to distinguish between normal sounds and problems. A change in pitch from the ventilation system might mean nothing to a civilian, but wakes an experienced submariner instantly. They develop an unconscious awareness of their environment, sleeping through routine noise, but snapping alert at anything unusual. The 24-hour watch rotation creates its own challenges. The submarine operates on an 18-hour day, divided into 3 6-hour watches, though modern boats have shifted to 24-hour schedules with 8-hour watches to better align with human circadian rhythms. Still, someone starting the midnight watch eats breakfast at 11 p.m., works through the night, then tries to sleep while others are having lunch. time becomes meaningless. Sailors lose track of days, marking time only by meals and watch rotations. Off-watch time doesn't guarantee sleep. Sailors must complete maintenance tasks, study for qualifications, participate in drills, and clean their assigned areas. A typical day might include 6 hours on watch, 2 hours of maintenance, an hour of drills, an hour studying systems, meals, and maybe 4 hours of actual rack time. Exhaustion becomes so normal that sailors joke about falling asleep standing up during watch. Feeding 135 people in a submarine kitchen the size of a small apartment requires military precision and creative storage. Before patrol, the supply team performs geometric calculations to fit 3 months of food into every available space. Cases of canned goods stack in passageways. Frozen meat fills special freezers. Fresh produce gets wedged into corners, and sailors learn to step over boxes of potatoes for the first week until space opens up. The galley operates 24 hours a day, with culinary specialists working in conditions that would challenge any chef. They prepare 4 meals daily to accommodate the watch schedule: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and mid-rats for the night shift. Everything happens in a space where 2 cooks can barely pass each other. The oven, grill, and prep surfaces occupy maybe 100 square feet total. Deep fryers and steamers squeeze into corners. The dishwasher runs constantly. Fresh ingredients disappear fast. Lettuce and vegetables last maybe 10 days. Fruit might stretch to 2 weeks if carefully managed. After that, meals come from frozen, canned, and dry stores. Navy food scientists have developed special recipes that maintain variety despite limited ingredients. Submarines carry specialized bread makers that run daily. Fresh bread improves morale significantly. Some boats have soft-serve ice cream machines, considered essential for crew happiness. The mess hall seats about 20 people, forcing crews to eat in precise shifts. Junior enlisted eat first, then senior enlisted, then officers. Each person gets about 15 minutes. Tables are bolted down with bench seating so tight that sailors sit shoulder to shoulder. Getting up means everyone on your side stands. Conversations stay light. Politics and religion are unofficially banned topics. Instead, sailors bond over jokes, stories from home, and endless games of cribbage. Food quality on submarines consistently ranks among the best in the Navy, and for good reason. When you can't go outside, can't call home, and can't see the sun, a good meal becomes one of the few reliable pleasures. Culinary specialists train specifically for submarine duty, learning to bake from scratch, adapt recipes for available ingredients, and create special meals for holidays or halfway points in deployment. Halfway Night features steak and lobster, a celebration that breaks up the monotony and reminds crews they're heading home soon. The Navy has experimented with hydroponic gardens to grow fresh vegetables aboard submarines. Some boats successfully grow lettuce and herbs in small chambers, though space constraints limit production. Water usage, power consumption, and the risk of introducing contaminants into the closed atmosphere make expansion difficult. For now, crews accept that fresh salad remains a memory after the first week at sea. Hygiene on a submarine operates under different rules than surface life. Modern nuclear submarines produce fresh water through distillation. Seawater gets heated to steam, then condensed back to pure water, but conservation remains critical. The distillation plants can produce thousands of gallons daily, but that water serves many purposes: cooling equipment, cooking, drinking, and bathing for 135 people. Showers follow strict protocols. Sailors get 3 to 5 minutes total. The technique, called a submarine shower, works like this: wet yourself for 30 seconds, turn off water, soap up, then rinse for maybe 2 minutes. Some boats enforce time limits with automatic shutoffs. Others rely on peer pressure. Use too much water and everyone knows. The showers themselves are tiny metal stalls where raising your arms means hitting walls. Water pressure varies with depth and system demands. The submarine's atmosphere control systems can't handle strong scents, so everything must be fragrance-free. No cologne, no scented deodorant, no aromatic shampoo. The air recycling systems would spread any strong smell throughout the entire boat within hours. New sailors learn this quickly when someone breaks the rule, and the entire crew suffers through days of lingering fragrance mixed with machine oil and diesel fumes. Toilets on submarines require actual training. The system uses pressurized seawater to flush waste into sanitary tanks. Operating valves in the wrong sequence can cause spectacular backups. Waste literally explodes back into the compartment. The procedure involves opening and closing multiple valves in specific order, checking pressure gauges, and sometimes coordinating with control room personnel who monitor tank levels. Even experienced sailors occasionally make mistakes, leading to embarrassing and messy situations that become submarine legend. Laundry presents another challenge. Most submarines have a single washer and dryer for the entire crew. Sailors typically own 2 sets of working uniforms, rotating between them throughout patrol. Officer and senior enlisted might get laundry done weekly. Junior sailors wait longer. By the end of a 3-month patrol, everything carries the submarine smell, a mixture of machine oil, diesel exhaust, atmospheric control chemicals, and humanity that families recognize instantly when sailors return home. Life support on a submarine represents one of engineering's most elegant solutions to an impossible problem. Every breath taken 400 feet underwater depends on machines that never stop running. The oxygen generation system uses electrolysis to split seawater molecules. H2O breaks into hydrogen and oxygen gases. The oxygen gets released into the submarine atmosphere while hydrogen gets compressed and discharged overboard. These oxygen generators, called O2 banks, produce about 150 pounds of oxygen daily, enough for the entire crew with reserve capacity. The machines run continuously, monitored by nuclear-trained electronics technicians who understand both the chemistry and the engineering. Backup systems include compressed oxygen banks and chemical oxygen generators, the same oxygen candles used on spacecraft that provide emergency breathing air if the primary system fails. Carbon dioxide removal proves equally critical. Humans exhale CO2 constantly, and in a sealed environment, concentrations would reach toxic levels within hours. The submarine's CO2 scrubbers use a chemical process where air passes through chambers containing monoethanolamine, a compound that bonds with CO2. The MEA solution then gets heated to release the captured CO2, which gets compressed and expelled from the submarine. The process runs all the time, removing about 1,000 pounds of CO2 daily. Water production showcases similar ingenuity. The distillation units pull in seawater, heat it using excess heat from the nuclear reactor's steam system, then condense the pure steam into fresh water. A single unit produces up to 10,000 gallons daily, enough for all crew needs with surplus for emergency reserves. The water gets tested constantly for purity. Any contamination could affect the entire crew within hours in such a closed system. Isolation from the surface world transforms submarine crews into something beyond coworkers. With minimal outside communication, sometimes just familygram messages of 40 words or less, the boat becomes its own universe. Sailors might not know who won the Super Bowl, what happened in politics, or whether their hometown got hit by a storm. They surface after months to find the world changed in ways they couldn't imagine. This isolation creates intense bonds. Birthdays get celebrated with special desserts from the galley. Holidays bring decorations made from whatever materials sailors can scrounge. Paper chains from technical manuals, tinsel from emergency blankets. Christmas might feature a tree built from green oxygen tanks. Thanksgiving happens with all the traditional foods, even if the turkey comes from a can and the cranberry sauce is powder mixed with water. Humor becomes essential for sanity. Crews organize elaborate pranks, like sending new sailors to find relative bearing grease or bulkhead remover. Facial hair competitions flourish since grooming standards relax on patrol. Categories might include best mustache, worst attempt at a beard, or most creative sideburns. Movie nights in the mess feature commentary and jokes that would seem bizarre to outsiders but bind crews together through shared absurdity. The lack of privacy paradoxically creates deep trust. Sailors know each other's fears, habits, and dreams because concealment is impossible. They've seen each other at their worst, sick, exhausted, frustrated, and still depend on each other absolutely. This vulnerability, combined with shared hardship, forges relationships that last decades after Navy service ends. Submarine duty is entirely voluntary. Every sailor chooses to spend months in conditions that would constitute cruel punishment in other contexts. They volunteer knowing they'll share beds with strangers, breathe recycled air, and lose contact with families. They accept claustrophobia, exhaustion, and the constant possibility that any mistake could kill everyone aboard. The selection process screens for psychological stability and intelligence. Submarine School in Groton, Connecticut, puts candidates through academic and physical challenges designed to identify those who can't handle the stress. Nuclear power training adds another layer of selection for those operating the reactor. By the time sailors report to their boat, they've proven they can handle the technical demands. Whether they can handle the lifestyle only becomes clear at sea. Pride drives many volunteers. Submariners see themselves as elite, doing a job most people couldn't handle. The nuclear submarine force represents less than 2% of Navy personnel. These sailors operate billion-dollar platforms carrying enough firepower to level cities. They conduct intelligence missions that never make headlines, patrol strategic waters to maintain nuclear deterrence, and project power in ways surface ships cannot match. The technical challenge attracts engineers and problem solvers. Operating a nuclear submarine requires understanding physics, chemistry, electronics, and mechanics at levels that rival graduate education. Sailors learn to troubleshoot complex systems under pressure, make critical decisions with incomplete information, and maintain equipment that has no room for error. The skills translate directly to civilian careers. Former submarine nukes work at power plants, tech companies, and engineering firms that value their training and discipline. Veterans describe a unique satisfaction in submarine service. They've lived at the edge of human capability, pushed their minds and bodies to limits most never approach. They've kept secrets that protected national security, performed missions that shaped global politics, and survived in an environment that wants to kill them every second. When they finally surface and see sunlight after months below, they've earned a quiet pride that lasts a lifetime. Living underwater for months strips life down to its essential components: air, water, food, sleep, and the people around you. Submarine crews inhabit one of Earth's most hostile environments, surviving through a combination of brilliant engineering and human adaptation that pushes both machines and people to their absolute limits. Submariners develop a different relationship with comfort, privacy, and freedom than surface dwellers can understand. They know what it means to depend absolutely on others, to trust technology with their lives, and to find meaning in missions they can never discuss. They've learned that humans can adapt to almost anything when the purpose is clear and the team is strong. When submarines finally surface after months below, crews emerge pale and tired but profoundly changed. They've lived in a space where everything is shared, nothing is private, and survival depends on perfection. They've breathed manufactured air, drunk distilled seawater, and forgotten what rain feels like. They've done their job in conditions that would break most people, and they've done it together. That submarine smell, the mixture of scrubber chemicals, machine oil, and recycled air, never fully washes out. Years later, former submariners catch a whiff of diesel or hydraulic fluid and immediately remember the weight of ocean above them, the hum of machinery that never stopped, and the faces of shipmates who shared their underwater prison. They remember hot racking rotations, 3-minute showers, and meals eaten shoulder to shoulder with their underwater family. The boats keep diving, crews keep volunteering, and the cycle continues. Somewhere right now, hundreds of feet below the ocean, sailors are hot racking in coffin-sized bunks, eating in tiny mess halls, and maintaining machines that keep them alive. They're doing it because someone has to, because they can, and because they've chosen to be part of the silent service. The ones who disappear beneath the waves for months at a time and come back having done their job in the deep.